Now, this way his character come into play. So the officer, when he approached him, it told him to keep his hands up. He said, I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air. During this time, the suspect said verbally out loud, I was protecting myself. This is the first initial. This is Eduardo Cortez, the first officer who locked him up. The first officer on the scene, Eduardo Cortez. He said, he verbally screamed out loud, I was protecting myself. Does that sound like a thug who was trying to get away? Does that sound like somebody who came there to premeditate to kill and hurt somebody? Knowing in Texas, you can stand your ground. You don't have to retreat if you are faced with a life-threatening situation. You can stand your ground. You don't have to flee. He was protecting himself by 2 6-foot big guys. Now, if it was the other way around, y'all would be using the size. But this is what I'm saying. It shouldn't have to be racial. But anyway, let's continue. Let's go. He said, while the suspect sat on the ground, and he was very cooperative as well. He wasn't defiant. He wasn't resisting. No, nothing. He complied with the officer's instructions. So while he sat on the ground, I was advised that I had the alleged suspect. The suspect then responds and said, I'm not alleged, I did it. And then he goes on to say, as we were walking to the squad car, the suspect was emotional. Let's stop. Keyword is emotional. He was emotional. He felt sorry, empathetic, sympathetic to the situation that transpired. Okay? So the key word was emotional. He wasn't a little thuggy man, like, yeah, I did it, like some real little loser that grew up not caring. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell that this boy was raised right. He was emotional and said, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Does that sound like somebody who was there to premeditated to go there and harm somebody? Or does that sound like somebody who literally defended himself and did what he had to do and felt sorry for it, but took accountability? Nobody want to give him anything. It seems like every time when there's a black person, especially a black man, we are guilty before being innocent, and then we supposed to have a right to have a fair trial. But somehow it seems like when it comes down to justice, when justice should prevail and work in everyone's favor, it seems like black people has to be the people that shouldn't seek justice. It don't apply to us. But let's go here. He said, it should be also noted, this is what the first initial cop has written in his statements. He said, it should also be noted that the suspect asked me, is he going to be okay, while he was in the back seat. Does that sound like a thug to you? Does that sound like a criminal to you? I would like to know these things. He was very sympathetic and concerned of the condition of Austin Metcalf. Does that really sound like a thug to you? Does that sound like a criminal to you? Or does it really sound like an innocent person who was approached by 2 big muscular guys who was very aggressive, or one of them was very aggressive and was putting his hands on him and forcefully pushing him out the tent, and he had to defend himself? This is what I'm saying. Nobody want to give us the benefit of the doubt. Black people are always guilty. Always. It doesn't even matter. And if it was on the flip side, if the roles was reversed, I can guarantee you, if Karmelo was the victim that got murdered, Austin would have got off scot-free. Literally for self-defense. That's just how this world works. And we have to understand that. We have to understand that. It's always going to be one-sided. It's never going to change. Ever going to change. But at the end of the day, y'all can't at all control the narrative. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. And let me just add this. You know how many different people from different schools that was there? Let's name them real quick. Marco Gonzalez, a Centennial High School coach. Karmelo Anthony's coach was present. He's a witness. Vincent Hooper, Heritage High School coach. Heard suspect confessed to stabbing victim. Lakeisha Collin, Independent High School coach. Another witness of the incident. Different people from different schools were there. So why, everybody asking, why was Karmelo there? Knowing that he's an athlete as well. Mindy Yeatman, Independence High School coach, witnessed the incident. Let's just keep that in mind. Different coaches and team players from different teams at different schools were all present there. Keep that in mind. Peace, everybody. Welcome. Make sure you pay attention. This is going to be very crucial because it's a lot that was not said inside of this police report because common sense will actually kick in. Please follow me. Please stay tuned. Let's get right to it and go waste your time. Now, here's the report of the first witness. Here's what he said. He said the victim, Austin, and the suspect, who was later identified as Karmelo Anthony, date of birth, ... Anthony was from Centennial High School. It was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. Austin had told Anthony, see the word told, did he disrespect him? Like, what was it, very aggressive? Was he very aggressive when he said it? He didn't say he politely asked him. He told him, told is a demand. Told Anthony that he needed to move out from under the team's tent, and Anthony grabbed his bag. Let's just stay right there. Stay with me. Why would he grab his bag? If the person would have said in a polite way that, hey man, this is for our school. We need to sit under here, so on. Can you please move? Or a respectable way to move. And to ask him. Or he did it aggressively. Look, the dude is 6'1". Both of them are 6'1", 225. Karmelo is, I think he's 5'9". He's kind of tall, but he's some weigh 130 pounds. Why would somebody literally go to their bag if they did not feel threatened? Why nobody expressing that? Why would somebody just go to their bag and say, touch me and see what happens? Why would he say that? Did they threaten to put hands on him? And he actually did. But let's continue. Let's think for a second. Told Anthony he needed to move out from under the team's tent, and Anthony grabbed his bag. I just explained, why would he grab his bag? Just for no fucking reason? Or he was scared of two big, muscular twins who was coming at him with malice, right? He grabbed his bag and opened it and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. Why would he say touch me and see what happens if he wasn't threatened to be harmed? So why would he say touch me and see what happened? Because evidently they approached him in a manner where they was going to put hands on him. They was very disrespectful. They wasn't even gentlemen. He was on a defense mode. Okay? Now, no one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag, and Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. How did he touch Anthony? Did he touch him in the most disrespectful way? Did he try to manhandle him and push him? Evidently he did, because after he told him, don't touch me and see what happens, and you really did still put your hands on him, what does that show you as far as Austin's actions? He was being an antagonist. I don't know if that's the right word, but he was being very disrespectful. He was being threatening and harmful to him. He did not take precautions of the threat, because he felt that he had his brother with him and they could jump him. They bigger than him and they wasn't afraid. Evidently, they wasn't afraid. So Anthony proceeded to put his hands on him first, after he was warned. Okay? And then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. Why would he tell him to punch me and see what happens if Austin did not say he was going to punch him in his face? Why is nobody reading in between the lines? Read in between the lines. It's all common sense. But it's all right. It's all right. Because it's all, you already know. Shout out to Chris Rock. Then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. He still put his hands on him in the most disrespectful manner because he thought he can bully him and overpower him. 6'1", 225. He's like a monster. And grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony pulled out a knife, recalled as a black knife, and stabbed Austin once in the chest, and then ran away. Austin began grabbing his chest to saw for saw, like we know what happened. God bless his soul. God bless his soul. God bless his soul. Now we have another witness account. This is the black guy. This is a black player. And the officer asked him, he said, I asked him what happened. Here's what he stated. He stated that we were all sitting on the bleachers under a Memorial High School tent. Now, there's other players sitting under that tent, so he just wasn't there by himself. Okay? And when another male, who was Karmelo, who he didn't know, walked over and sat under the tent. Mind y'all, the weather was effed up. It was about to rain. The weather was bad. So keep all of this stuff in mind. Everything plays a part, right? He walked over and sat under the tent. Then said Austin, the victim, told this male, again told, there's no politely asking, no anything. Told, that's a demand. Told is not asking, that's a demand. And how did he say it? Of course somebody's going to say, those are words. But if they are effective words, mean words, derogatory words, you get what I'm saying? Then that changed the dynamic of the energy. But he said, the victim told the male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. He's, I guess whatever the name is, because it's scratched out, has said during this time of arguing, keep those key words, so that's back and forth, two people arguing. Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of to get out this time. The male took a knife and stabbed Austin and then left the scene. Let's stay right there real quick. Follow me. Austin then stood up and pushed the male. That's why he grabbed his bag. Touch me and see what happens. There is a reason for that. The guy was the aggressor and he was just protecting himself. Why nobody's not looking at it? These are witnesses' accounts. Mind you that they got video. But let's continue.